but that 88 is pulling away.
Earnhardt, Johnson, Menard, Blaney, third-generation star Dale Earnhardt Jr. brings him to the flag. Checkered flag waving. It's over. It's Earnhardt. Earnhardt trying to cover all spots.
Oh, yeah! Good job, Junebug.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. Checkered flag at Talladega.
Why is this one so much fun? Because your grin told so many stories on your cool-down lap.
It's just real emotional. I haven't won here in a long time. It was my daddy's birthday a couple days ago. Just real emotional, man.
My nerd world.
It's a good thing I don't get paid for my predictions here on the My Nerd World Dale Earnhardt Jr. race preview podcast, because I have not been doing well at all this year in my predictions. And my apologies if I got your hopes up last week heading into Charlotte. I hope that, provided with a more tangible amount of data as we head into Pocono this weekend, providing that it doesn't rain. And well, I guess it doesn't really matter. They're going to run the race eventually, but Sunday looks really bad. We'll talk about that in just a moment as it relates to the rain. But hopefully, heading into Pocono, I can provide a better prediction, because I was way off last week. I really thought that Dale Jr. had a much better car than what they did, and all the signs were pointing that direction. And even early in the race, before the sun went down, the car was fast, and they were moving up in the field, and it just they just kept dropping back and dropping back and dropping back. And it was one of those races again where it was so reminiscent of the times when Dale Jr. Has not been running well, and there were issues with the crew chief. And it's, for those of us that are fans of Dale Jr. that have been following for a number of years, you know what that feels like. And that was one of those races where I was just like, man, we're falling back again after making up all that ground. I know we got caught on a caution flag. We'll talk about that just briefly, and then we'll look ahead to this weekend. I'll give you, my take on practice, qualifying, my prediction. We have some merchandise news. If you're in the market for a new vehicle, you can drive a Dale Earnhardt Jr. Car. There are some other non-clothing related merchandise items that have been released. I'm staring at a whole page of them right now. One clothing related item that I'm actually very, very excited to talk about. And again, I'll give you my prediction for the race this weekend. So first, let's talk Pocono. I love Pocono. It's one of my favorite races of the year. One of my favorite tracks. I'm so glad we go there twice. I love the fact that we seem to run there back to back. I just find that unique. It feels like we go to Pocono, and then before we know it, we're back at Pocono. And of course, Dale Jr. has a good history at Pocono, winning back-to-back races there in 2014. Pocono also bumps up against Michigan, which is another one that I enjoy, and another race where Dale Jr. has done some good. So if there's an opportunity to turn things around, it certainly is this weekend or Monday for the 88 team. It looks like they're trying to dial in the car during practice. Practice is actually on right now as I'm recording this, and I paused it a moment ago to go listen to what they were saying, and they're dialing it in. Dale Jr. Doesn't feel like the car is completely under him, but they want to get it to just right. And Pocono is one of those tough tracks, being the triangle, such high speeds on all the straightaways heading into three unique corners. It's just such a fun race to watch. So unique in terms of the way the race plays out, fuel mileage, who dials in the car based off of what corner, because basically that's what you have to do. You have to kind of pick which of the three turns that you want your car to perform the best, and therefore make the most passes. The big concern I have going into Pocono, apart from the rain tomorrow, is speed. And that's something that we will get to when we get to the race preview portion of the podcast. There is a 100% chance of rain on Sunday. Well, I think actually it's down to, if I look at my, I'll do you a favor, and I'll actually, while I'm doing the podcast, I'll pull up the app for the Weather Channel, and I'll tell you currently. Let's see now, and we do forecast. And for tomorrow, they are calling for a 90% chance of rain. So what we're saying is there's a chance. There's a 10% chance that we get a window. I hate rain delays, and I hate going into a Sunday knowing there's rain. Like, I almost wish I get torn. It's the difference between wanting NASCAR to pull the trigger now, saying we're going to run it on Monday, and then I just get over it, or that little tiny bit of hope that they can run it on Sunday, and then, being disappointed and having it be postponed till Monday. Mentally right now, I'm expecting a Monday race. There is a window, a very small window, and it really is going to come down to if the meteorologists, the forecasters, are correct in their predictions. I'll tell you what, if they do get the race started and there's even a chance to go halfway, that's going to be a fun race. Because the teams are definitely going to be scrambling to make sure that they're up front when those first raindrops fall. And then it becomes a completely different kind of race. I know a lot of the drivers right now have been out of the track testing their fuel mileage. So obviously, many of them are predicting that, hey, we may have to stretch the fuel mileage based off of whether or not we're coming to the end of a fuel run. And we're also bumping up against the possibility of it raining. Now, before we get back to Pocono, let's talk just a little bit about last week. The speed just didn't seem to be there again. When the green flag dropped, Dale Jr. was flying. And it was one of those moments where within the first 25, 50 laps, I was watching it going, man, we're hauling. He was really working his way through the field. And even on Twitter, there were so many fans going, yeah, this is what we wanted to see. This is the kind of start to the race that we've seen in the past where Dale Jr. has won. Now, granted, even if the car got dialed in, there's no telling, and more than likely it would not have gone in his favor just because of how dominant Martin Truex was during that race. I mean, you cannot overstate what an accomplishment it was for that 78 team to lead all but 12 laps of that 600-mile race. I mean, it was just impressive. So I don't think that Dale Jr. was going to walk away with a win. And I can't help but wonder if you have a car that dominant and you're in the middle of the Coca-Cola 600 and you know that your car just is not fast enough to win, even if you dialed it in. There's a part of me that wonders if they start doing some research, if they start treating the race as a test. That's kind of what it felt like to a certain extent. It seemed as if they started trying some things just to see what it would, if it would work, things that they maybe normally wouldn't try. And I may be completely off base here. But after the race was over, Dale Jr. was very keen to say that they felt like they had made a lot of progress. And I was scratching my head during some of the comments, the post-race comments, especially on the Dale Jr. download this week. He walked away from that race with a really positive attitude, which is good. They really blamed that yellow flag for sort of giving them an opportunity to have a top 10, and I think that's true. I think he could have finished up in the top 10 if it hadn't have been for getting caught on that yellow flag in one of those final stops. But even after that, I mean, they weren't starting horribly bad in the back. Well, no, they restarted at the tail end of the Lagos line, then they got another caution. We're up in the mix, but even then the car wasn't very fast. But Dale Jr. in his commentary was saying that they were very, very pleased with the performance of the car, even though they didn't get the finish they wanted, and he was positive moving forward. Then there were several articles this week talking about how they hope they peak at the right time, and I can't help but wonder if that's because they knew, kind of like in the All-Star race, if you're not going to be able to win the All-Star race, it doesn't really matter, right? And Dale Jr. ran great, but a lot of drivers will just treat it as a test session. And I wonder if they're going, well, points don't really matter, we've got to get a win. I mean, they can get into the chase on points. I don't think any of us want to actually see that happen. We want to see Dale Jr. win a race and get into the chase with a win under his belt. And quite possibly it could come at Pocono either Sunday or Monday. I guess the big takeaway is what I mentioned, that Dale Jr., after the Coke 600, was very, very positive about the results of the race and thought that they were moving in the right direction. It's clear that this team has no has no desire and no plans to give up anytime soon. It's pretty clear that the team is committed, and I think we are poised to see some great things as we head into the summer. And, maybe Dale Jr.'s right. Maybe they do start peaking. We're not so far into the season and things aren't so bad that we need to really start being concerned. This was the first week, I will say this. This was the first week, however, where I started to question Greg Ives. I just, after the race and before hearing Dale Jr.'s comments, this was the first time where I went, man, I'm not 100% sure. That being said, I kind of trust Dale Jr. on this. And once he stops talking about Greg Ives and starts talking like the team has problems, then I think that's the time when we can begin discussing whether or not Dale Jr. needs a better crew chief. I miss Steve Letarte. I think a lot of that came down to chemistry. I think a lot of that came down to friendship. Dale Jr., in terms of his driving ability, seems to really be affected by confidence. Obviously, the car setup, but confidence is such a big deal for Dale Jr. And him and Steve Letarte just had one of those special relationships. And look, I can relate. When I started my show here in August of 2007, the guy that was producing my show was also the program director for the radio station that I still work for 9 years later. And we had an amazing chemistry. And he was a sort of an on-air producer. He would go on air on the show with me, even though he wasn't co-hosting. But he ended up becoming my best friend. And some of the best shows that I ever did were when he was with me. Now, when he left, about 3 years after we started there together, he's now up in Minneapolis. I've developed as a talent, and I'd like to believe that I still produce as good a shows as I used to. But if I could have him be working with him again, I think that the shows would be elevated to an even better and bigger level than what they are now. It's just hard to come by that kind of chemistry. But again, that mindset of Greg Ives and whether or not he needs to continue to be the crew chief or whether or not Dale Jr. needs to start looking for another crew chief. Again, I put those aside after I heard the comments from Jr. and his faith that he has in Greg Ives. All right, let's talk a little merchandise, and then let's talk about Pocono and the race preview for whenever we end up running the race. First off, if you're in the market for a new vehicle, you could drive a number 88 Chevy pickup truck. Yeah, that's right. Dale Jr. and Hendrick Motorsports have teamed up for a Dale Jr. 88 Special Edition Silverado. It's a pretty awesome car. Do they have the price on here? No, they don't. It's a big red, again, special edition Silverado. Let's see. I'll tell you a little bit about what it features here. The eye-catching special edition, sorry, let me get into my voice here. The eye-catching special edition features premium GM accessories, including a signature sports bar with LED off-road lights, nudge bar, and custom off-road step bars, along with the black Chevy bow tie emblems and aggressively designed 5-spoke wheels that fortify 4 rugged all-terrain tires. How was that? Let's see. In the article here, it says, every weekend the number 88 is always looking for more horsepower. For the number 88 Special Edition Silverado, that horsepower upgrade comes with the specially designed Borla exhaust system, highlighted by performance tips. Plus, you get the custom Dale Jr. badges featured along with a tastefully done 3D tilted graphic that adorns the package unique black tailgate decal. Oh yeah, I guess they did do that. Dale Jr. matched the tailgate based off of what he does with the cars. Yeah, I don't know what the I'm trying to see here. Oh, you can ask your local Chevy dealer if there is one available in the area. Well, you know what? The lease on my car is up here at the end of the year. Maybe I will go and get myself a number 88 Special Edition Silverado. Actually, now that I think about it, I won't because my wife won't let me. I don't like big cars. I like little cars. Right now I drive, I love it though. Okay, so don't laugh. I have a 2014 Kia Forte Coupe, and I just love small cars. It's kind of like a poor man's NASCAR race car. The front of it is a ripoff of the current NASCAR Chevy SS. It is just the way the